Today's topic is going into what yoga really is. So let's dive into it. But before we actually go into the nitty-gritty, I just wanted to explain that in these modern days, I actually see yoga being done on TV and some really funny things are actually being done by people, and they're almost doing it more like a fashion statement rather than actually a spiritual kind of thing. So it's seemingly used to gain social status instead of actually the intended goal of what yoga actually is. I remember seeing a group of people doing kind of what they said was yoga. So they were kind of dressed not so decently, and every time they did a pose, they took photographs of their bodies in these poses, and on their social medias they used these hashtag spiritual, hashtag blessed kind of whatever you want to call them, but that's what they were using it for. And it's not really exactly what we would expect it to be, but I honestly couldn't stop laughing. It was nowhere near what it was actually meant for. But I also feel for these people, as these people may be not aware of actually what the power behind it truly could be. So let's probably get into that and we can discuss it a bit further. But obviously, I think that, when people do certain things like what they see maybe other people doing in terms of yoga, it may resemble yoga. And, people might actually still feel good based on what they've done relative to what they were actually feeling before that. But the full benefits of yoga will probably not be experienced by most of the people. So, what is actually yoga? Let's first understand that we have not one body, but actually 5 bodies. So that is actually 1 physical body and 4 energetic bodies. So just try to follow me up here. The energetic bodies have different capabilities, but as the energy becomes more subtle and more subtle, the more powerful the body actually becomes. So let's start with the physical body. This is the body that we can obviously see and touch, and this is actually the weakest body that we actually have, since it is the least subtle of all the 5 bodies. So I'm kind of going to go into order of increasing kind of subtlety and obviously increasing power at the end of the day. So the next body is the etheric body, and this is actually very similar to the physical body in the sense that it has a very similar shape and form. The same kind of organs are present in this, but it's more on the energetic side. This sometimes people can see, sometimes you see people talk about auras and stuff like that there. That's essentially the etheric field that's actually seeing around the physical body. So this is obviously more powerful than the physical body, as it is a subtler body, but it's not the most powerful body at the end of the day. So the third body is actually the astral body. The fourth body is what's known as the causal body, and the 5th body is actually known as the supercausal body. The supercausal body is actually known as the bliss body, or the bliss sheath around the entire consciousness, if you want to call it. So the 5th body, the supercausal body, this is the most subtle energy body and the most powerful energy body as well. These energy bodies are separated but also entangled together slightly into each other. Obviously we cannot see this with our own eyes. So the physical body is entangled with the etheric body, and the etheric body is entangled to the astral body, and so on until we reach the supercausal body. When these 5 bodies actually start to merge, this is actually known as yoga. Right? So it is a unification or the merging of these 5 bodies, so that the consciousness now emerges, or your consciousness now merges with the infinite consciousness. Some people may want to talk about that being God or creator or whatever label you have for this infinite consciousness. I think everyone would probably have their own way of relating to it. Whatever it is, it doesn't really matter, but your consciousness now actually merges with this infinite kind of source. So this unification is actually done through some physical movements and breath work with, focusing of the mind And it's essentially done to allow the bliss that naturally is within to come to the surface, right? So that's essentially, in a nutshell, what yoga is. It's unification at the end of the day, and unification of your energetic bodies. But the outcome of this unification is actually something truly remarkable at the end of the day, if you can get it right. So I just wanted to get into, like, is there any ways that we can actually enhance our experiences of this unification of our yoga practices? And yeah, of course, there is obviously any way to actually enhance the experience. And I'm going to share with you a few of here that I actually do in my daily experience and my practices. So some of them you might not actually like, but nonetheless, I'm just going to give you them to see whoever wants to practice them, and you guys can comment below on your experiences with them and see if it does actually enhance your experience with it over time. So, number 1, intermittent fasting or fasting in general. I would recommend at least a time for 36 hours. That means, like, there's no food for 36 hours. You can drink water and nothing else. I think this is the best case scenario, but essentially, if you can fast for some time at least, preferably, well, let's just say, for example, you wake up in the morning in a fasted state, and you do it before you eat anything. Essentially, that's one of the ways that you can actually improve your practice. So number 2, loose fitting clothes or baggy clothing. So this is also great, since you want kind of the elements to flow and be in contact with your skin. If you look at the yogis in the Himalayas, and most of them are either without shirts, or they're essentially not wearing many clothes out there, so that the body can be full contact with the elements that are out there. So in this day and age, obviously, it's not appropriate to be kind of like half naked in front of the world that we live in. So at least try to wear some baggy clothing so that our skin is in contact with the elements. Number 3, abstain from stimulants such as energy drinks. I know people are going to hate me for saying this, but tea and coffee are not really good for yoga practice, because they stimulate the nervous system. And when the nervous system is actually stimulated to such an extent, you can't really enter a meditative state, and sometimes you will not be able to feel the subtle energies around you and feel that bliss. So yeah, if you can abstain from that, brilliant. Number 4, another controversial one, but again, we're just going to go into what's best for the energy at the end of the day. And I want to say, not consuming non-vegetarian foods, meaning like your meat, poultry, and fish and stuff like that. Those things are not really good for you. So if I can try to give some explanation on here, because people will be like wondering why. So when it is a case when people actually eat these animals that had complex emotions. So when I say complex emotions, it's in the sense that, like, if you take, for example, a cow, the cow, if you look at the nature of a cow, and I'm specifically referencing like places where people actually live with cows, these cows actually have feeling, and people will actually say that when they live with these animals, it's like a member of the family almost. They are literally kind of attached to this animal because it can sense emotion. So when you try to integrate the system, or your system itself tries to integrate with the meat itself, because it's difficult to actually digest the meat because of the complex emotion, your body won't really kind of be able to function properly, because it will digest the meat, no doubt. I mean, people will say, but they are digesting. But on an energetic level, this actually places a lot of strain onto the energetic kind of bodies at the end of the day. And it's almost equivalent to actually having stimulants. I want to go into more detail on that thing, so I'm going to put that as a separate video altogether. So for now, maybe you can trust me, or if you don't trust me, then it's all up to you. But maybe you should try having, for example, vegetarian foods and do your practices, and have non-vegetarian foods, and see if you are eating both those kind of foods. If you're not, and you're only a vegetarian or plant-based diet, then brilliant. So, number 5, no smoking or drinking. I think these are actually kind of obvious, but if you're taking any toxins into the body, it will not function effectively. So if your physical body is not functioning effectively, what do you think is going to happen to the energetic bodies? So, definitely stay away from these. And yeah, if you don't, I think you already won up. So there are obviously more ways to improve your experience, but these are just few of them to actually help you along your spiritual journey. I hope you understand more about the process of yoga and what yoga really is. And now that you understand that it is such a powerful practice, I encourage you to include this in your daily routine every day, even if it's just for 15 minutes. That's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching, and please share this video with anyone that you think that will benefit from this. Also, let me know where you're listening in from, and comment below what your thoughts are on yoga. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and turn on notifications if you like my videos. Till next time, bye!